Hey there! It is April 7th, 2023, National Beer Day from what I hear, so I'm enjoying myself a non-alcoholic Guinness this evening as I prepare to edit the next stretch of videos from the trail. So we're looking at days 10 through 13 coming up, which fell on April 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th last year. So I'm coming on to do a little director's commentary because unfortunately, while I was transferring files from my SD card to my backup hard drive, the hard drive got disconnected and the files that were being transferred at that point just kind of went off into the aether. So I'm here to kind of fill in the gaps a little bit. But before I get into the commentary for the next couple of days, I wanted to give a little bit of info on the color coding of the pins on the map that is present at the beginning of each of the vlog videos. So a red pin will indicate days that I am hiking active miles on trail. A black pin that comes up on the trail is a day that I slack packed. A white pin on a town is a day that I have stayed in town, and a black pin on a town is a day that I've taken a 0 in town. So speaking of zeros, let's get into the commentary. So day 10 was going to be my first 0 day. Now I had already stayed indoors a couple of nights since starting the trail a little over a week back, but this was going to be the first 0 day. And for those who are not familiar with the term 0, it's to indicate a day where you've hiked 0 miles. But what I find kind of funny about the term 0 day is that typically 0 days are also chore days. Now, this is when you do your laundry, your resupply for food for getting back on trail, and also just kind of getting around town to eat food during the day. So unless you have access to all of that in one place, which does happen from time to time, but was not the case for where I was staying here, then you will find yourself trekking around quite a bit. And in this particular case, I found myself walking from my Airbnb to breakfast, to a bakery after breakfast for a little post-breakfast coffee and pastries, then back to the Airbnb, then to Walmart, and then back to the Airbnb again. So why did I find myself at Walmart? There was definitely a store close to where I was staying that I could resupply at, but the thing was, Walmart had something very specific that I needed. So I found myself trekking a little over 3 miles round trip just to Walmart to pick up a COVID test. So after I had picked up my second coffee and my pastries for the day and was walking back to my Airbnb, I had received a text message from one of the passengers in yesterday's ride from Deep Gap. And they said that they hadn't been feeling very well and they had tested positive for COVID. So I felt like it was only right that I should also test myself, just being in close proximity to these people, and make sure that I was good to get back in another vehicle with other people the following day to get back on trail. So April 9th, I tested negative for COVID, but I decided to take an extra 0 in Franklin to test one more time, just to be sure, before getting back on trail. And I'll let April 10th, 2022, Sydney, take it from here. I thought it might be kind of fun to go live while I do my COVID test. I've been waiting all day to do this. So the instructions in the packet very specifically said, if you're not showing symptoms when you take the first test, to take a second test at least 24 hours later. So it's been exactly 24 hours. And here we go. 4, 5. Wow, that feels just terrible. Wait for 15 minutes. Hey, Cristo! Really would love to get back out and continue hiking. It was a really beautiful day outside today. I kind of just walked around town, then came back and just been hanging out. That's about as exciting as my day got today. I went and stopped by the store, just kind of picked up a couple of little snacks, get some more water. I packed up my resupply bag, sat out on the patio for a while. Noticed when I was out walking a couple times that there's like these really big, like rodent type creatures that are like kind of moseying around in the like piping area, like, you know, like the sewer areas. There's like waterways that are kind of not too far from here. And I think they're muskrats. I've never seen a muskrat in person before. This is like gonna take forever. 12 minutes still. Jeez. Woo! My test results came back negative. There was part of me that kind of resigned to the fact that I wasn't gonna get back out on trail tomorrow. But I'm really glad that I'm gonna be able to get back on trail. It's time. I'm ready to keep hiking. Monday, April 11th, 2022. So I'm almost a mile and a half into my hike this morning. I got dropped back off at Deep Gap, mile 85, by Bobby the Greek. Rode in with two other couples, a younger couple and an older couple. Older couple's names were Cough Drop and Dragonfly. I didn't catch the younger couple's name though. Anyway, it's a nice kind of moderate climb out of Deep Gap this morning. Very, very quiet though. And got some sun this morning too. Well, that's interesting. North Carolina Bear Sanctuary. Oh dear Lord, please let me not see a bear. All right, back to hiking. I'm extremely curious to know what this all looked like the day before yesterday, considering that's when it actually snowed. There's like still snow on the ground up here. I felt like it was pretty warm yesterday, so there must have been a fair amount that dropped. And standing Indian Mountain. Cool. The terrain was very cruisy today, making the 12 miles easy to complete before 4 p.m. Set up my tent, and before anything else got set up, I did a bunch of stretching. My legs and feet were really feeling it today. Another hiker I hadn't talked to since Blood Mountain, named Jello, was here tented next to me, and he joked around about playing cards with leaves. I decided to get out of my tent and chat with him for a bit, about my trail name, and our reasons for being out here, and what our plans were for the next week and the Smokies. It was nice to chat for a bit and kill some time. Now to sleep though, feeling super cozy and have an alarm set for 6:15 to get up and get at it early tomorrow. Tomorrow will not be as cruisy as today, unfortunately, and I've got a schedule to keep. Good morning. It's Tuesday the 12th, and I am making my way up to the summit of Albert Mountain, where the 100-mile marker is. I think it's an old 100-mile marker, so it's not like technically 100 miles, but it's kind of what everybody like signifies as 100 miles, because it's written on the side of the lookout tower that's up there. But the sky this morning looks really pretty. Alright, it's kind of hard to see, but that little blob right there is the tower I'm headed towards. Yeah, it's quite the hill. Should be interesting. Here it is. 100 miles. Kind of.
Close.
Close-ish. Woo! I had to stop and question this for a second because I'm just like walking in like a creek basically. There's a dry trail up there. Woo-hoo! Pushed the 12 miles I needed to get to Winding Stair Gap by 2 p.m. for my pickup to go back into Franklin to stay at Chica and Sunset's hostel. Got all cleaned up and laundry done, then went into town to get a couple of food items and some dinner. Stopped in at the Lazy Hiker Brewery and smashed a burger and a massive stack of curly fries. Visited with a guy named Boston Bill who had hiked before and was out to hike a section with a friend. Also visited with a few other hikers. One of the girls staying at the hostel, Rachel, invited me to sit with her and her two friends, Chris, otherwise known as Flamethrower, and Jellybean. Back to the hostel, and the three other guests, Rachel, Lego, Salty Rhino, and myself, chatted. I had a slice of pizza and a Klondike bar and didn't get to sleep until 11 p.m. It was nice. Yeah. Just for peeing, though, not for...
Sure. No, I get that.
Yeah.